He's exhausted, pulls into his driveway. What's on his front door? A relatively large wooden crate. And he's like, oh my God, what is this? Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Fraud Squad. Yes, I am getting sick again. I was just sick 2 weeks ago, but I have a child that's in kindergarten, and that is how this works. Every 2 weeks, they bring home a new virus. It infects your whole family, and you get sick, and that's it basically until the end of time. I got a great video today for you guys from a viewer story. I have everybody write in all their stories on how they got scammed. Some of them that I think are really good, I will reach out to you, ask for more information, and then turn them into episodes, and that is what we are talking about today. Today we are talking about Dave, or that's not his real name, but we're going to call him Dave. It sounds like a good name. And Dave has an insane story to tell, so grab a coffee. I got my Ravenclaw Harry Potter mug. We're going to grab a coffee or a tea, sit back, relax, enjoy the story, and don't forget to subscribe if you like this type of content. And this is one of the worst stories I've read. I've had many stories in by this point, and this is just insane. This poor guy, I'm gonna give you a little bit of background on Dave. Dave's an average dude. Okay, he's 36 years old. He lives in Michigan, in a decent neighborhood in Michigan. Has a decent job, owns his home, no kids. He has a girlfriend. He's got a group of friends that he hangs out with. They've been buddies since high school. Describes himself as relatively intelligent, not top of the, not Einstein, but also not, stupid. He's a regular, average, relatively smart guy. And he's always careful with his money and his personal information, as he should be. About 2 years ago today, he decided to switch banks. He was with one of the big banks in America. He wasn't really happy with them. They were charging him all kinds of fees and stuff. He just thought he could do better, so he went to a more localized bank. It was small, but it wasn't like super small. He said that they managed a fund of like $2 billion, so it's an actual bank, but it's just a smaller bank. So he deals with the sales rep there, starts a new account, everything's fine. They give him whatever the signing bonus is. He got like $100 in his checking account to sign on. They had no fees, no transaction fees, as long as you kept a certain amount in your bank account. It was all looking good and fine. He got that set up, no problem. Got his direct deposit in there and just moved on with his life. After the first 30 days, he made sure all his bills are coming out correctly, and he doesn't keep a molecular eye on his bank account as long as there's no issues. Everything's got email notifications on it anyway. If some payment is missed or something didn't go through, he would be made aware. So about 2 months goes by from the time he set up this new bank account, and he gets an email one day in his inbox that says there was a suspicious login attempt from this IP address in Brazil. And he gets these all the time. We all get these emails all the time. I get them literally twice a week saying someone requested this login code from Russia, or someone tried to log in from Brazil. Was this you? And the email said, if this wasn't you, you don't need to do anything. And he didn't. He just forgot about it because, again, we're all accustomed to getting these emails at this point. Then he gets another one a couple days later. So he's like, okay, you know what? Whatever. Someone's obviously trying to get into my bank account, so I'm going to update my password. So he goes in, logs in, updates his password to some crazy long, super crazy, bunch of characters, bunch of letters, bunch of numbers, stupidly long password just for his own peace of mind. Moves on with his life. A couple weeks later, he logs into his bank account, just making sure everything's good. He hasn't gotten one of these suspicious login attempt emails in a while, and he's looking through his charges and he sees there's a couple small charges that he didn't recognize, like $1, $4, $7. So he calls his bank. One of the nice things about dealing with a smaller bank is he didn't have to wait on hold forever, so he got a hold of someone really quickly, and they took a look at it and said, yeah, you know what? These are coming from some weird vendor out of Brazil and Russia and Pakistan and all these areas that are known for online scams. No offense. So they reverse all the charges. They actually issue him a new account number and a new card just for an extra layer of security. They block all those payments from coming out of his account, and they move on. This happens all the time. Now he's keeping a closer eye on his bank account, obviously, because there were some charges there. So a couple of weeks go by, he notices again, there's a couple small charges, this time on his credit card. Before it was his debit card in his checking account. Now it's on his actual credit card, which is a bit disturbing because now he's like, okay, maybe there's something going on. Maybe, how do they have access to both of these? It's under one bank, but it is odd that you would get, usually either they find your debit information or your credit information. It's relatively rare to find both unless there was some sort of bigger data breach. So he calls them again. They reverse the charges, block the vendor, issue him a new card. Same thing. This time it was with his Visa though. A week later, he gets a call from his bank saying that your account has been suspended for suspicious activity. He's like, what the hell are you talking about? What suspicious activity? What's going on? And then they lay out all these charges that were on his credit card. So he logs into his bank, sees that there's tons of charges on his credit card and that 2 more lines of credit have been opened, and he panics. He tells the person on the phone, I never authorized anything. I don't understand where these came from. I don't know how these possibly could have been opened. There's a couple more lines of credit under his account, under his credit, under his identity, and money's been taken out of those accounts, and he's pissed. So he thinks, okay, whatever, there's paper trails, there's a digital footprint on all this stuff, we'll be able to get it sorted out, no problem. So his new bank tells him that they're looking into it, they got their fraud prevention team on it, we're gonna figure out what happened here and we'll get back to you. And in that couple days, he says it was a couple days, he had to wait to get some answers and see if they can figure everything out. Within that time, he gets another call from a completely different bank saying, hey, where's our money? You took out this line of credit. You haven't even made your first payment yet. He tells him on the phone, I've never opened up an account with you. I don't even know what you're talking about. He has no idea. Then it obviously clicks in. Some form of his identity had been stolen and someone was using his information to open new banks, new lines of credit, get new credit cards, and steal money. And he finds out, doing some research, this has been going on basically right from when he signed up with this new bank. And it keeps piling on. He's got collection agencies calling him now. He's got other credit agencies calling him now because they had opened so many accounts and not paid anything back, all without him knowing. He has no idea what is going on. He checks his credit score, tanked. And on his credit profile, you could see all the lines of credit he had open. He had like 1 when he started this whole thing, and then he had like 9 now. And it added up to about like $170,000 US of money that he had borrowed on his account. So he's at home with his girlfriend one night, and they're literally on their laptop trying to figure out more information, trying to track down where these accounts are, what banks they're with, trying to do his own investigative research to find out who he needs to contact to get this sorted, get it off his credit, contact the authorities, whatever. He's just doing research on what he needs to do. And then he gets a loud bang at the door, and there's someone on the other end screaming, police, enter, put your hands up, surrender, whatever it is. And they kick the door down, and in comes at least a dozen guys, and it was a SWAT team, full tactical gear, machine guns drawn, right? Face shields, riot shields, they all come swarm his house. They're screaming at him, get on your knees, get on your knees. So he gets on his knees, he has no idea what's going on. They handcuff him, he's on the ground, they're searching the apartment, his girlfriend's screaming. She has no clue what's going on, he has no idea what's going on. Now we're at the most exciting part of the video. Let me tell you about our sponsor, OmniWatch. And this fits perfectly with this video. OmniWatch would have saved Dave. OmniWatch covers you in these situations where you're manipulated into giving over your banking info and you get robbed, or you're like Dave, who is the victim of a cybersecurity breach, up to $25,000. This is coverage beyond what your typical bank or ID theft insurance can offer you. And it's extremely affordable. I mean, their premium plan is only $13 a month. This is a no-brainer for a lot of you that write me those emails. And it comes with all this extra stuff. Take a look. Dark web monitoring. You get credit report monitoring. You get TransUnion credit log. You get a VPN and an antivirus for one device. You can even get them for extra devices, up to $25,000 in ransomware protection, $25,000 in scam protection insurance. This is just incredible value for the price. Oh yeah. And it has up to $2 million identity theft insurance. It fits perfectly with this video. Get it for yourself, get it for your loved ones. It's just peace of mind. Data breaches happen every day. Scams are becoming more and more complicated. AI exists, people. So go check out omniwatch.com. Click my link below. It helps support the channel, me, and it helps keep you safe. It's a win-win-win. It's a trifecta of winning. Okay, back to the story. They're searching the house, rifling through everything, destroying. The door literally is off the hinges. His neighbors are watching. He's trying to yell at them saying, you got the wrong guy, you got the wrong guy. Like they're acting like he's a drug kingpin. So they're there for a bit. They tear down the whole house. Literally flip everything over. They don't leave one cushion unturned. And after hours, he gets brought back to a jail cell. He ends up figuring out that someone had used his identity and one of the lines of credit that had been opened to purchase guns on the dark web. They used all his information and it was all tied to his line of credit. And not like a handgun, like assault weapons, automatic rifles, grenades, C4, military grade weapons had been purchased using his name and his account, and it was all traced back to him. So after questioning him for what feels like an eternity, the cops start figuring out, oh, this guy actually doesn't know what's going on. His identity was stolen, and they start to do their own investigating in terms of what else is going on, where they start to track down who actually took the identity, and they realize that basically Dave was innocent. So they let him go, but like his house was trashed. They don't do anything else. They literally didn't even fix his door. So he's got to pay. His landlord's pissed off because the door is literally torn off the hinges. His house is trash. So he goes back home. He's got no money. He just had this traumatic experience. He doesn't have any idea what's going on with his credit. Now it's being used to do illegal stuff. God knows what else. It's being used to buy military-grade weapons online. God knows what else it's being used to do. He doesn't know who to call. He doesn't know where to go. He doesn't have access to his money. So over the next few months, he gets a lawyer. He deals with the cops. He gets a credit agency. He gets a private investigator. He gets like a agency that deals with this type of fraud, so that they can help clear his name. He's working with credit agencies, the credit bureaus, trying to clear his name, trying to get this all sorted out. This is months and months and months of work, and lots of money to him because it costs money to hire these people. The way he describes it is like constant phone calls, constant meetings with lawyers, trying to get things off his credit. He had to like reach out to credit bureaus to get things off his credit. They drag their ass. So it takes him a full year to basically get back to zero. So after a full year doing all this, he gets a new bank account, gets a new credit card. The police charges are clear. There's no issues there. He gets all these other fraudulent accounts closed. He had everything removed from the credit bureaus, and they say they removed it, but his credit was still junk, which is a whole other episode. The whole credit system we have is fraud, in my opinion, but I'll save that for another video. And this whole thing's stressful. He's paranoid. He's like genuinely has PTSD from this whole experience. He's checking his accounts all the time, never even uses his card, gets in the habit of using cash just because he doesn't even know where this all started. He would go to his new bank, get cash, and then that's how he would spend it because there's no digital footprint with the cash. But not everywhere takes cash, actually. It's tough to live in a cash society now, actually. Everyone wants you to use the plastic, but this is just what he does. So he deals with all the pain, he uses cash, but he's paranoid. But things are finally back in place. He's improving his credit score slowly, and everything kind of settles down. Or so he thought. A few months after he thinks everything's normal, he's pulling into his driveway late at night. He had a late shift at work. It's dark. He's exhausted. Pulls into his driveway. What's on his front door? A relatively large wooden crate. And he's like, oh my God, what is this? He goes up to it, no markings on it, no shipping label, no nothing, just a wooden crate. He's like, my God, what is inside of this wooden crate? But he gets his girlfriend, who's now his fiance, and they get a crowbar and they open the top of the crate just to see what's inside. Yeah, it wasn't good. It was tons and tons and tons of guns. Tons of them. All stacked in there, and grenades and ammo, and literally they just took these guns and just put them in this wooden crate. No packaging, no wrapping, no like order to this. Literally just took guns and ammo and grenades and put them in this wooden crate all together. And he's like, if I even like touch one of these things, it could pull a pin on a grenade. And he's terrified. He's like, oh my Lord. Something like you see in like an action movie. Keanu Reeves just gets a crate full of guns delivered. That's what this looked like. So he calls 911. Petrified because of all this crap that he just went through, and the cops come and they treat him like shit. They treat him like a criminal. Even though he just went through all this, proved his innocence, they decided it wasn't him, and they were very aware of the credit hack he had. But the way he describes it is that they were completely rude to him and treated him like a criminal, and he had to go in and they investigated him and interrogated him. He had to call his lawyer again and go through the whole shebang all over again, basically. But now this time the guns were actually tangible and at his house and in his possession. But again, after hours and hours of questioning, they realize, okay, they're not his guns, and they find out it was part of a larger operation on the dark web, probably when this all started, and they were using his house either as some sort of drop-off point where someone else would come pick them up, or it was just a mistake and they actually delivered it to the address that they had on that credit card file whenever he bought the guns. But now the FBI is involved. The FBI comes and interrogates him and asks all the questions, and that's another month of nightmare. He said the FBI treated him a lot better because they were fully aware he was not part of it at all. But, you know, it's still terrifying being investigated, interrogated by the FBI. Just being the fact that the FBI is in your life at all is just terrifying. And it was at this point that Dave finally decided, and he'd been hemming and hawing about this decision for a year now. and his lawyer finally convinced him to sue the bank that started this whole thing. Clearly, this all started with that bank he initially signed up for, that new smaller bank. Clearly, they had not handled his identity in an appropriate way. Banks have very high standards in how they're supposed to handle your information and your data, and they obviously didn't do that. The timing is just too coincidental. Turns out, after his lawyer does some digging, Dave wasn't the only one from this bank that this happened to. It actually happened to about a dozen other people. They knew there was a security vulnerability in their system, and apparently they dragged their feet to fix it, didn't tell anybody, and allegedly some of the staff even knew that the information had been compromised and there was a data breach, and they did nothing about it. And the lawyer actually had some tangible evidence of this, so they sued. And he won. At this point, Dave wasn't even thinking about any sort of financial retribution. He just wanted accountability. He was pissed off. So Dave gets a settlement. It turns out to be a pretty hefty sum, and they also pay that amount to the other dozen or so people that this happened to. But it turns out hundreds of people had their data leaked, but only a dozen ended up resulting in an actual identity theft, and Dave was one of those people. So because of his lawsuit, all these other people got paid, they joined in. I'm not sure if it turned into technically a class action, but that's what it was. And the bank also got fined for not handling cybersecurity properly. So not only did they have to pay the victims, which they should have, but they actually got fined from the government. I forget what agency, or he didn't even mention what agency. One of the government agencies actually fined the bank a very large amount for not handling data properly. They had to redo all their systems, and honestly, I don't even know if they're a bank anymore. So the settlement helps to recoup some of the financial burden that this has cost him over the now 2 years that he's been dealing with this, but you know, he still had to go through all that trauma. 2 years of his life is gone. It was a huge stress on their relationship with his new fiance. At one point, he didn't even have access to his money. He couldn't even buy food, pay his rent. Bills are piling up. It was a true nightmare. He had to get a new social security number. He had to get a new passport. He had to get a new driver's license. Every part of his identity, he had to get a new everything. He had to become a new person. He's still Dave, but he had to basically become a new person in terms of all of his identity and forms of identification. Now he just tries to stay offline as much as possible. He told me he doesn't even shop on Amazon. He wants nothing to do with it. Everything's cash. He'll go into the store and buy something, not on credit. He doesn't even have a credit card. He said his fiance has a credit card. She's willing to take the risk because she never got hacked. So when they need to book a hotel, they use her credit card. But he doesn't even have a credit card in his name. His house is paid off, doesn't have any mortgage. The guy has no credit. And I can't blame him after this, after being swatted and stolen from and lied to and having guns show up at your front door. It's insane to me that this even happened, and that the bank knew the whole time or were basically just negligent about it is shocking. And it makes me think, okay, what's my bank doing? So it's a reminder that this can happen to anyone. We're not invulnerable to this happening. Even if you have good passwords, even if you practice good cybersecurity, it can happen to anyone from a source that's not even your fault. In this case, it was a bank that he dealt with, right? And they got hacked, and then his data got leaked to them. So it wasn't even his fault. How would he ever know that was gonna happen? So it can happen to all of us. I'm trying to come up with some advice on how to avoid this, but I mean, the reality is our data is in the hands of people that we don't know. We don't know the operations, and we can't live our life without a bank. It's just innate risk that we all have, and you can't avoid it in today's society. So prayer, maybe try prayer. But that's it. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you like this new style of storytelling. I think it's interesting. I got a lot more crazy stories coming. So if you like this new style of video, please let me know in the comments down below. Let me know if you've gotten scammed. There's a link in the description below where you can reach out to us, let us know your story, and it could be featured on an episode. I would love to hear your stories. Check out fraudsquad.shop for our merch. We got t-shirts, we got hoodies, we got sweatshirts, we got long sleeve shirts, short sleeve shirts, white shirts, black shirts, shirts with the old logo, shirts with the new logo. We got hats. We're working on mugs. I know, I'm working on mugs. We're working on mugs. Sorry you have to deal with my nasally sick voice, but this is my life now. I'll probably have a new cold next week, so I will see you guys then.